Hey everybody, it's Funny here once again. I hope you're doing well. Today's episode is on the Elektron Toneverk. I'm going to call it their latest Groovebox. It sounds like this. Okay, everybody take a deep breath with me. We're going to do the Toneverk episode. So I'm going to break up the rambling about format a little bit today. I have a whole bunch of notes, things I want to touch on, things I really don't want to miss. So we're going to start the video off in the chair, and then we'll get back into the normal format where I go hands-on with the device. We'll build a jam or a patch together, exploring the different machines and the workflow and stuff along the way. So if you indulge me, here we're going to yap first. So if you've drilled all the way down to a channel as small as mine for a Toneverk video, then you've no doubt been following all the discourse around the Toneverk and how it's not finished and all of the things that are being said right now. But I feel like before we talk about anything else, I need to contextualize this with what appeals to me about the Elektron workflow and what my dream box would be and why Toneverk is the closest to that we've seen just yet. So here we go. So here's tafony's dream Elektron box. So as I've mentioned in other videos, I just want one box. I don't want 20 Elektron boxes. I don't want to deal with MIDI. I don't want to deal with external mixing, none of that crap. I just want a Groovebox that can produce entire songs. And ideally a follow-up to the Octatrack, right? I feel like everyone's asking for it, and that would include myself. So no need for 50 boxes, power supplies, external mixing, MIDI, all that stuff. If the Dirty Wave M8, the Deluge, the Akai Force can all do it, for like half the price, Elektron can do it, right? So just to be clear, this is where I'm coming into the Toneverk, right? What I would want to see in the machines and software, I want to see synth machines and sampling, right? The Swarmer machine, I love. The Model Cycles machines, I really love too. Digital multimode filter, stuff that's on the Toneverk, I would really love to see. Sampling that supports beat matching, slicing, master compressor, full effects power, that is definitely on the Toneverk. And scenes I would really love to see. I point this one out because it's not on the Toneverk, obviously, but so I'll live without the crossfader. I know lots of people's first reactions to the Toneverk were like, Octatrack had crossfader, where's the crossfader here? But please, I mean, the scenes were special, and even quick perform on something like the analog rhythm, something like that would be awesome. Just performance macros are really, like, hardware is for performing, right? And to give us tools like that for live, especially, I just feel like something that I'm missing on the Toneverk, I guess. So that's where I'm coming from. I talked in a lot of different videos about how I hate the need for all these different boxes. I hate how arpeggios aren't included on one box and master compressor isn't included on everyone, just everything in one place. Ironically, Toneverk comes as like, oh god, not another box, but in looking at it more, it's the most complete of all of them, I'd almost say, right? At least from my wanting a standalone single everything in one Groovebox. Now, leading up to that, Digitone 2, one of my favorites. I, can do drums. The drum machines are not as ideal as the Model Cycles or the Syntac that use the same engines. I really wish those were on the Digitone, but brings real synth machine power and drum machines in one box without having to go elsewhere, right? I really wish I could sample. I don't see how these devices don't. I don't get it. But the Elektron workflow. It's beautiful, and it is capable of producing full songs in the Digitone without having to recall different projects across different devices, or doing a MIDI CC maybe from a master device, or having to all these headaches that, you know, are what I love about modular not having, that, you know, spreading across different devices. I'm just not interested in it. So what is the Toneverk to me, and why does it appeal? I guess I see the Toneverk as a rompler, and I saw a thread, even I want to say on Modwiggler, maybe it was on Electronauts, but somebody was derogatorily, is that a adjective? They were referring to it as a rompler, and like, oh, who would spend that sort of money on a rompler? Just some sort of sucker. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I would go so far as to say this actually has some similarities to something like an MC101, but that idea fully expanded into something way more powerful, way more easy to use, I would say, way more hands-on, and way better effects. And that really appeals to me, right? And like I said, why this over the MC101 or other romplers or this Mountain of Eurorack? The sequencer. I know it just sort of like... love for the Elektron sequencer is kind of thrown around so much that I feel like kind of roll our eyes at it, but like, just I don't mesh with any other sequencer quite like I do these ones. And I spend so much time in the Hermod Plus sequencer, which is this Eurorack sequencer here, that every time I return to the Elektron sequencer, I'm just like, oh, you know, I really like trackers, but I love the Elektron sequencer, right? If your music is percussion focused, I just don't think anybody's doing it better, right? And maybe it's just because I started there, that it's imprinted on me so much in a way. Maybe it's a chicken and the egg thing, sort of where I'm coming from, but just like coming back to this, I'm like, yeah, like I never mesh with piano rolls of like an Oxy 1 or a Deluge as much. Dirty Wave M8 tracker I liked, but the Toneverk, it just took everything that I like about trackers and then just expanded it into like my favorite sequencer. So again, this is also why I want to write entire songs on one device and not spread that across all these different things, right? I want to be able to, I don't know, mute is also part of it too, being able to perform it all in one place, recall it, and do live sets. That's where I'm coming from, right? I'm looking at this from the context of a Groovebox fan, right? I love Grooveboxes, I love romplers, I love all-in-one. Electribes I love, and I feel like they were a big inspiration to the Elektron boxes in the beginning as well. But the other thing I need to point out is there was a lot of discourse comparing it to the Digitact as well, and I have very little experience with the Digitact, right? So maybe people are frustrated as well, that they're like, why isn't this just a firmware update for the Digitact? I don't know. I don't have any experience with that. Like I said, I only have experience with the frustrations of stuff they leave out of other boxes. So hopefully these effects as well are coming to everything else, right? The degrader machine, maybe it's not a machine, just the degrader effects, the dirt shaper, they're absolutely amazing. I am like over the moon. Normally that stuff is like limited to stuff like the data bender. You can't really like, I mean, I probably get a microcosm or something like that would do something similar. I've never experienced it, so don't tell me it's not as similar as I'm making it sound, because it probably isn't. But just nasty effects like that, you just don't find them in Grooveboxes, right? Unless you're building it yourself in like an Octatrack or something. But on the Toneverk, those machines are really special, and I really hope they bring it over to the Digitone. Am I keeping the Digitone? I don't even know. Maybe we'll answer that at the end of this video, because I don't have an answer for that. So I'll also point out another piece of context that people are going to be mad at this video will point out as well. I don't know when, if ever, I've sampled directly into a sampler. I've always loaded packs, be it the Percons pack that you're probably going to hear today, purchased or downloaded free packs online or whatever, or synthesized drums. And I love synthesizing drums, but that is another weird piece of my workflow where I'm like, maybe a lot of people in the community are like, oh, I use the Digitone 2 every day, why would I want this? And that's something that I have no experience with, right? So I'm curious about sampling in, I'm curious about, you know, taking some of this modular and putting in the Toneverk in a way that I could recall live on stage. Sounds really appealing, and I have never done that, right? So maybe these are just sort of the things that you cope with to justify a new device like that, but that's where my head is at. I feel like the context is really important, because a lot of the critiques that I've seen of this device just don't apply to where I'm at right now. That being said, I do, like everybody else, love the idea of an Octatrack successor, right? Octatrack in the past, I've owned it a few times. I loved slicing breaks, driving other gear, using it as a mixer and stuff. But every time I tried to load samples into it, the way that each single one shot takes up one of the 8 tracks, that very quickly ate up my entire machine, right? It's an amazing device. I just feel like if we could get an SD card on there, if we could get more sample memory, more channels, all those things that everyone's asking for, I would love that. But then I also look back at my times with it where there's all these specific workflow things I was trying to do. Playing a super long instrumental to use my voice on top of was like impossible to get working on the Octatrack in the way that I was intending it to do because of the beat matching that the Octatrack masters can do in a heartbeat, but just felt impossible to wrap my head around. Like I was jamming, running my microphone into it, processing the microphone, sort of something that I had originally hoped the Octatrack could do for live, that I was never able to figure out, although I know there's a way to do it. But on the Toneverk, it was like stupid easy, and then I could send it to a whole bunch of effects buses, mangle my voice in like 6 different layers, and then while there's no scenes, the effects power on here is awesome. And I feel like, and I kind of wonder if they just strayed away from selling it as much as an effects box because again they sell 1 million devices and they have the analog heat plus effects that came out pretty recently, and they don't want to hurt the sales of that. I don't know, maybe, I don't know what the reason. Now I'll say the multisampling as well. I love the idea of having sound fonts as well. I understand that it's pretty broken at this moment. I haven't tried it out yet myself. I love the idea of just basically going on there, grabbing a super saw, using the filter that's in the device, not baked into the samples. Ironically, while I say I don't see myself using it, I would see myself preloading with a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I don't know, I love some of those nasty sounds on the Access virus. I would love to load up my Toneverk and just have access to an Access virus. Sorry, I didn't mean to say Access twice. But hopefully once they fix the issues with the loop points, I want to see Piston Honda. I really want to get a polyphonic Piston Honda going in here. I feel like that will be splendid. I was one of the 5 people who was excited about the Nanobox Tangerine for that same reason. Before I was into Eurorack, I went through all of these headaches. Like I just said, I hate external mixing and MIDI and all of these problems. And when they announced the Nanobox Tangerine, I was really excited about that device. I was like, you know what? Instead of trying to find multi-timbral synths, instead of trying to answer all these issues that I was having with my hardware, what if I just had all of them digitally in a multi-sampler, right? If I wanted a Juno sound for something synth wavy, or if I wanted a nasty bass sound, if it just did everything, right? So that idea really appeals to me, but it's funny, I rarely have seen anybody using tangerines in the wild, so maybe the 5 people who were interested in it, me included, never ended up picking it up, because I never did. I got into Eurorack and then completely forgot about it, so not once have I ever seen a used one come up. So if you're here, you're probably seeing the community's in pretty much a shitstorm at this point. It feels like everybody's really frustrated about it or really excited about it. Everybody feels the obligation to either attack it or defend it, or I'm going to say the following is just pure speculation here. I have no idea, and I'll talk about why it's kind of frustrating to have to even speculate on things in a moment here. But I'm going to speculate that this was rushed the way that it was because of tariffs. I'm willing to bet the U.S. is the biggest market for them, and they just saw the latest policy changes, maybe viewed it as either the last opportunity or the, I don't know, peak in the clouds. I'm trying not to get into the nitty-gritty of all of that, but I believe tariffs and trying to get ahead of them, or at least, I think they just saw the writing on the wall that if this device in hardware doesn't get out now, it's going to be even more expensive once it's there. So is that accurate? I don't know. All we can do is speculate, but I'm going to wager that that's the reason, or at least they should take the excuse that I'm giving them and use it. Because when you open it up, the first thing you see in the box is basically like, hey, check for day 1 updates. To me saying yeah, the device isn't done, but I don't know if that's the actual reason why they did it, but that note kind of was telling that it wasn't done in my eyes. So for whatever the reason it was, here we are. And it's really frustrating to kind of have to speculate on all this stuff, right? I feel like I'm not trying to go all tech bro on you, but I feel like they kind of need to move away from this cell phone style drop thing. The leaks came out and everybody was speculating about it, and Elektron said, no, it's not real. We are always testing stuff and blah, blah, blah. And just I think in my mind, it creates a antagonism between the community and Elektron that just like kind of, I realize they probably want to be like an Apple. I'm sure they would love a devout customer base like that. I just feel like if you involve the community from the outset, the entire community, instead of doing these like secret releases and these surprise drops where everyone, myself included, feels like if I don't get it now, it'll sell out and then I won't be able to get it for months, as I mean, that might be a uniquely Canadian experience, but I just feel like the better route is to get constant feedback from the customers, be constantly iterating on the software ideas rather than keeping it a secret, having no say, pushing it out, getting a whole bunch of backlash from people. And I realize it's kind of ironic too, the backlash. If I'm Elektron, I probably look at it as like, well, if you don't like it, don't buy it. Like, you don't have to, right? And I get that, but I also feel like your customer base is so vapid for new devices, which is, you know, something they're really lucky to have if I'm Elektron. But I haven't seen the backlash this bad since something like, I don't know, the Polyand Play 2, Polyand Play Plus, right? And it just feels to me like if you communicated with the customers, then all of this surprise and outrage and controversy and everything, like, it doesn't have to be a thing, right? If you knew how people would react beforehand, you wouldn't have to experience it firsthand, right? And even now, like, and again, I'm not on Elektronauts very often, but it just feels like Elektron, everything on their social media is just marketing. I felt sort of similar ways about the Ectocore, although there was kind of more direct communication in that front, but it just feels like use all of your channels to communicate directly with the customer. Now, I understand they have thousands, if not millions of customers, and a lot of the communication is probably going to be pretty dog shit, but in the absence of any communication, you kind of walk into this firestorm like we're seeing right now, right? Where a device that isn't completely ready faces a whole bunch of backlash from people who maybe don't even understand what it's trying to do. I say that last part because I feel like a lot of the controversy could have really been squashed by communicating what this device is and what it does. Running this channel, I've said there's a whole bunch that I don't envy manufacturers, be it your rack or desktop boxes or whatever, because no two people, no two studios, no two setups, no two genres are the same, right? Everybody has different needs, different wants, different desires. So I can't imagine how challenging it is to navigate all that. But if you just are transparent and upfront, I realize it might hurt sales in a way, but it sort of feels like in the case of the Toneverk, people are like threatening to return it and stuff. You just communicated with people. Even right now, we don't know what the update plan is, what's in the pipe. It's all a big hush hush and a big secret. Like, I don't know. It's not a cell phone. Like, it's a lot of money, and your customer base is pretty knowledgeable, right? Well, not me, but other Toneverk users are, right? I just feel like the time for maybe a iterative agile, if I could go so far as to say, like, just constantly involve the stakeholders is what an adult would say. Having said that, I watched the premiere live when they announced this thing. The live chat was insane. Like, straight up, I can't believe all the racist things were being said in there. I can't believe all the blowback from people who hated the device, all of the things that were said on there. I thought it was a nice demo. Maybe it's just cope because I got it, but I saw it and I was like, wow, we finally have the most complete Elektron box so far, right? Even though it doesn't have the synth engines on it that I'd like to see, and I really hope they do. I just can't believe how toxic the community was, right? And I saw the other side of it too, that people were saying that like a bunch of idiot YouTubers were, it's all toxic positivity I saw thrown around too. Like, and I get where they're coming from. We want to push the company to do better, right? They've been a tremendous success, at least in my mind. I have no idea how they're actually doing specifically. Maybe they lose money on all these devices for all I know, but the price tags feel very, very healthy. I just feel like there's a line between that and like screaming in the live premiere chat and embarrassing yourself, saying racist stuff even about the presenter. And just like in an earlier version of the script, I used some whataboutism to like say there's more important things in the world. And I think that's kind of a stupid way to get out of this conversation. But it just what are we doing here? I came out of that video saying, oh God, we have Elektron Octatrack successor, which the more time I spend with it, the less true that feels. But I looked at it as the most complete box yet, and I immediately saw a way in which I could live recall, turn this into my Eurorack sequencing, and go from there. Maybe all of that's just cope to justify the purchase. I'm not above all the pitfalls of gas, obviously. I mean, look, but sitting down with it for the first time, spending some hours with it, I'm straight up loving it. it's totally possible that if I spent more time with the Octatrack and learned it better, if I actually tried a Digitac 2, that I would feel the same. I never have. But for me and the scenario I'm in, I just like full songs, full synthesizers, full recall of everything, and amazing effects. I'm just like, yeah, that's what I want in a desktop box, all in one place. And it has me sort of thinking about my workflow, like, do I even need a drum machine? I have the Percons that I really love, but if I can use the Toneverk to either trigger the Eurorack drums, which are my favorite, or sample them, or both, then maybe that's my workflow going forward. So I'm going to save the exploration of integrating it with modular for another video. I have a whole bunch of plans in my head for the live set, and integrating it with vocal processing as well is another quirk of my live set that I really think the Toneverk is going to be great for processing vocals through those buses. But today we're going to do a jam solely on the Toneverk, building it from scratch, talking about the machines, going through it together, and then hopefully we can take a big exhale together. All right, let's jump in. Okay, I just loaded up a new project here. Before we get started, I just want to say, if you're looking for a more in-depth demo that goes over absolutely everything better than I ever could, definitely check out the Dissonant Witchcraft video. I'm a patron of Jean's. I'm a huge fan of her work. She actually worked on this device, and many of the presets on here are hers, so she would know it better than anyone. So definitely check out this video, but for now, I'm going to do a quick jam, talk about how I like to use it, some of my favorite things about it, trying to keep it short because this video is surely already going to be insanely long. So, usual Elektron workflow stuff. I'm going to start by adjusting my tempo to something a little faster because I want to do, I don't know, let's go 140. I will hit yes and go out of here, and then I like to start my tracks by laying 4 on the floor. So how do we do that? Well, we're on track 1. We need to use a machine. So if you hold function and hit source, you can change the machine. One thing that's interesting is it's actually not labeled like all of the other devices are for whatever reason, but hey, it's the same as all of the other ones, so hopefully you remember the combo. Hold function, hit source. We want to do subtracks, which basically is sample packs, I would say. They're kind of like sample kits. So there's a whole bunch of instruments on here, which are kind of like presets. Let's bring in some volume. And laid across all of the 8 tracks at the bottom are all these different samples, nothing on the proverbial black keys, although they're all gray. Go through this. And instruments are an awesome way to get started, and I love using them for synthesizers, but I want to pick my own samples for now. So we do that by holding function and then hitting on the key, I'm going to call it the slot that we want to assign it to. So go to user. I have a bunch of tafony samples in here. These are the Percons pack that I purchased, one shots, Percons, bass drum. Let's audition some of these, and I believe you do that by hitting it. Let's get some nice techno one, and then we'll get nastier with it. One weird thing, if you hit yes here, it doesn't leave. I don't know if this is a bug or I just have weird expectations, but I think if you hold function and hit it, it did it. Let's get out of here now. Yes, it did. Okay, go into the second one. Didn't save my place. I wish it would go back to the same folder if I could make a request. Maybe some people would hate that. I don't know. Percons again, one shots. Percons. Let's do another bass drum. Holding function to skip by 10 because there's so many in this pack. I love these glitchy things. That could be our snare, I think. Again, I believe I loaded it, but we're going to find out. No, I loaded something else. Okay, again, I wish I wish something else came up on there, but that's okay. Let's go into one shots. Kits, no. Percons, bass drum, find another one. Oh, I love that. I think if I hit function, yes. Yes. Okay, this time. Yes, we did. Okay, so now I have 2 tracks. We're just going to hit record to enter step record. I'm going to lay 4 on the floor. Notice that the other ones, they usually highlighted the 4th step. This one, because it's like track and bus focused, not labeled the same. That's okay. That's not my kick. Hold on, sorry. Get over, select the first subtrack on 1. There, I'll lay 4 on the floor. It's not actually quite 4 on the floor, but I like that. Kind of interesting techno feel, you know? So if I want to extend this, I'll hold function, hit page, and then we'll make our length longer. And if you hold function, this will jump in normal steps. Let's go up to 64. And one nice thing, I don't know, it's funny the other devices, right? They didn't bring the they didn't update the Digitact one or the Digitone one to have longer sequence lengths because it didn't have the hardware LEDs to show it. Well, this one doesn't show it in hardware LEDs, it's just in software. So anyway, again, these are the things that I am annoyed by on Elektron boxes. Let's page through here. And the last one is blank. So I will go to the last page and I want to do some fills on there. I won't use the fill button, but I appreciate it's there. Have the last bar. Maybe we'll spread that out a little bit. Yeah, that's cool. And then this might actually be a little too crazy to use as a snare. I do like it though. So you get some parameters on that note. You can change your start, your length. You can also loop it. I won't do this because I want it to be a one-shot, but I do want to change the sonic nature of it, I guess. We want to use the multi-mode filter, and you can change this as well, but I rarely get into the EQ modes. I just want to use the envelope to make it a little more interesting, or to change it up a little bit, I should say. So let's go into record now, and I'll put this on here. Let's just see how that sounds. And again, I'm on the last page, so we'll just hear now. That actually might be too crazy to use it elsewhere. Okay, so let's do that. And then I will come into the third track, and let's find a actual hat. User. Find an actual snare. Maybe I'll go to a different pack and I'll go to snares. Okay, I guess these aren't compatible. Sweet. Okay. Dirty drums, maybe. Snares. No. Maybe we'll try the Electribe. Go to the castle. Hear this clap. That sounds nice. Okay. So now I'm in the third track. Let's lay some trigs. If I go back to the trig, and I'm on the last page, let's just copy this across all pages. By copy, I mean I'm just going to drop it on there. That's some. It'll go 5 and 13. Not super complicated, but we'll bring in some hats now. Like a nice digital one, so we'll add that there. Function and click, I believe. I'm not really sure because it doesn't give me any feedback. So yeah, let's find an open one as well while we're in here. Nope. Don't know what happened there. Elektron. Add some closed hats. I'm just gonna add some more sparse on that page, just totally at random, and then I'm gonna also add some trig conditions. So come to the trig. So we'll go to the trig page and use probability. Sorry, not a condition. And if you hold function, you can jump in bigger increments. Maybe we'll do 66 just to add some more randomness. Some nice techno stuff. Just give us a simple bass to write on. And then go over to track 2. Now, you can throw an effect on this. There's so many different levels on this thing, and I really love that about it, to add effects. So at the sub-track level, if we go into effects, I'll go function, load effects. We get a whole bunch of new ones. And if I'm not mistaken, mine is missing the reverb for some reason. And I think this is a bug. Yeah, I don't know where the reverb is on here. Maybe I'm only able to use the one on the send effect. I don't know. I saw another video where someone had the reverb on this insert effect one, so I don't know what's going on with mine. Maybe I just didn't do it wrong. Anyway, there's a lot of effects on here. What I really want to show you that I love so much, Degrader and Dirt Shaper. I won't use the acronym of the two. This just sounds like... What other Groovebox is doing this stuff? Glitch stuff. So that's the drop. modulation on board here. One thing that can be kind of confusing in Elektron boxes is when the machines take on some of the modulation. Like sometimes filter envelope is part of the, effect screen. Sometimes it's handled on the amp page. Sometimes that stuff for me can be kind of confusing, but I don't care. I'll crank up the... But ultimately, if you crank up the mod rate, it's always fun. Bit reduction. Get this. Just... You know what I have to say about this? Just listen. Like, who else is doing that? And saying that, when you blow it out like I'm usually going to do, you're going to want to do master compressor. So there's buses that you can send all your different tracks to. There's sends as well if you want to send some stuff out, bring it back in. I plan to do that with the Eurorack eventually, but for today, keep it simple. Master compressor, thank you so much. I believe I'm trying to think of the device I owned in my travels where I was just like, how is that not on there? But here we go. Function, effects, and let's throw the compressor on here. Now, the compressor, sorry, I probably just went right past it. Compressor. This compressor that was on the analog rhythm, it's hard to remember all these different devices. You're going to say, where does your taste, tafony? And I will agree with you. But just driving this thing, and I wish I put my kick on a separate track so I could sidechain too, but just absolutely dummying this compressor. I love that pump. And now... Sorry, I need to adjust my recording setup a little bit. So now I can, without being as cautious about levels, come in here and just... Like, are you hearing that? And we haven't even got into the other one. So if I modulate this now... one thing I've always complaining about, and I complained in a video recently in the comments as well, you have to use, you can copy and duplicate these, but you have to set one destination with modulation. And I just wish I could like come and do clocked LFOs and just send them to like 30 different places, right? But until that happens, we're going to come in here and come into the... Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong mod. What you need is an effect mod. There's so much modulation on here that they broke it out into effects LFO. Here we go. Sorry. So I want to modulate my bit reduction, depth, maybe it'll be positive. Just, this is, I don't know, things I was never able to do elsewhere before. Like, who else is, I mean, Octatrack masters are. But, yeah. So, love the degrader, but let's check out the dirt shaper. Totally wet. Great for drums. Great for drums. Sorry, I gotta turn down my master volume. DJ filter. Function to reset it. Performance crap. Like, these are the things that I'm wanting to do in modular, right? Rectify. This will eat my low end. Well, there's a spot in between, though. Noise. It's pink noise, so you can set the filter right here. DJ style stuff, yeah. Now reset my rectifier. Yeah. Alright, it's out of synth voice, so track 2. Coming here. Multiplayer. And the weird thing I saw in a lot of the videos was you can't loop your samples in the multi-machine. So these are multi-samples. There's also one-shots that are kind of like the Digi-Tact machine. But these loop, right? Like, I can hold it. I guess the firmware maybe isn't at a place where You can sample in a looped way yet, but then you can't edit your multi-samples at all yet. So, God, I hope that's coming. But also for me, I'm like listening to these and I wonder which of these are Gene's. I'm listening to these and I'm like, man, do my own thing with them. Let's find a super saw thing. This seems like a basic wave shape, right? It's way louder now, I guess. But I want to come in and do my own filtering, so let's do low pass, use our envelope. Too much resonance. Go down an octave using this. Go down an octave using, maybe we'll do the Raven. Let's go art mode. Just another thing that I'm so happy actually made its way over from the Digitone. So if I do like a C major here, maybe I'll do minor. So if I stop it, maybe I'll just mute my drums for a moment. I have no anything going on. So if we do our live recording, if you're here, you've probably seen it, no doubt. Hold record, hit on quantized, quantized. I see we are 1 bar, so let's just do. See, I always do this. This is I did parameter locks by recording my knobs in, so there's a way to clear this out, and I don't know. If you know, shout in the comments, but I do it by adding and removing new tricks. Clears that out. There's a proper way to do it, I'm sure. So let's bring up the level. We'll go into... Alright, here comes the jam. Let's go mute. Unmute our kick. Right, so notice a couple things on the muting front, because I love to mute and unmute. That's the classic techno thing of taking a 4-bar loop and stretching it out into oblivion. If I come in here, if I want to select different tracks, I can do it by pressing them. It will trigger, though. If you hold track and select it, it will go over to that track without hitting it. Took me a minute to figure that out recently. Hold track, select 1. We're in our subtrack for drums. Hold mute, and you can globally mute the whole subtrack, so drums are gone. So now I will go back to my drum track. I will mute everything and unmute the whole track. So now we'll unmute some certain elements. Kick in. So simplest ever jam, but gives you some bare bones. Let's go back in and just demo some effects, because I feel like it's some of the most important on here. If we go into... I don't know, I really like this chorus. Let's make it totally wet. I feel like the effects are what's really important on here. You can say that about any box, but it just really... I get the sense that they were afraid to sell it as a effects box, given that they have other effects boxes, I should say. Saturating delay can sound so good. And if you like glitchy, nasty stuff like I do, then you like this. And you get some comb filtering, this face filter that I really dig. I don't know if I mind the phase offset, but let's make the depth super deep. Yeah! Again, I swear there's a reverb machine on here. I already did chorus, sorry. But this is another good one. Get some tape warble. My buddy is convinced that they didn't want to call it the machine that's on the analog heat. Yeah. Bypass that. Alright, I've taken up way too much of your time already. I'm Tafony. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. I'll see you in the next video.